surprised at how tall you are. He's very tall.
Well, if you only see somebody on TV, you just see their, in my case, giant head. So it hides how tall I am.
Yeah.
That's right.
We are the table of big heads here.
So this is a show of MAGA Republicans, right? That's what my media team told me? Okay, good.
Well, we'll find out. Huh?
Joy Behar even said during the break, not joking, she said, you know what? You're like pretty good for a Republican. And I was like, whoa, that is a way better compliment than I expected from Joy Behar.
You told him during the break that he should run for president because he has a good vibe.
I think that even though for a Republican, truthfully, as I said to you in the beginning of this conversation, I don't think that he's a bad guy.
I want to tell you guys about Tatum store. If you're looking for incredible merch, get it right now before 4th of July. Wear your 250 merch. This is one of the greatest celebrations that you can have is the 250 years of our beautiful country. We got to keep it up because these devils are trying to take us out. We made it to 250. We need to make it another 250. We won't do it if y'all be cowards and never stand up for nothing and don't call these people on the carpet when it's time to call them on the carpet. Whether it's gay, trans, black, white, stupid, dumb, ignorant, whatever you want to call these people to the carpet, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be afraid. We cannot be cowards. You look back and they took over our country and then you want to nag and complain. Here is the time that is pivotal in our country. We will lose it if we don't stand up against this mess. Joy Behar says she likes J.D. Vance. Now, listen, I didn't watch J.D. Vance on The View. I saw a couple clips the other day, and I was like, bro, you got to get on there and whoop these women. Proverbially, not physically. But, like, if they ever had me on the show, I'm not holding back. There is no... excuse me, ma'am, can I talk? Now, they'll be like, oh, no, I'm finna get on. Oh, y'all, I've been waiting for this moment. They finna kick me off because I'm gonna say everything I mean from the heart bone. J.D. Vance look a little like, he was trying to be nice to him. They talking over him and stuff, and he just, I'm just gonna be respectful. Nah, forget all that. But anyway, I'm gonna give him a first shot. Let's listen to a little bit of what he said on The View.
What can you say to voters who trusted you to lower costs on day one, and will they be satisfied by November?
Well, I think that's ultimately up to the voters, right? I think voters have every right to expect as much as possible out of their elected representatives. We certainly know that we were elected on a number of mandates. One was to close the border, which I think we've done successfully, exceeded expectations there. Number two was to lower prices, and there's a lot of work to do, in large part because of what's happened over the last few months in the Middle East. But as you said, oil, which got up to $120 a barrel, now is at $80 a barrel. That's going to be reflected in lower fuel, lower food, lower energy prices. But there's a lot more work to do. The thing that I'm proudest about most, because as some of you may know, I grew up in one of these towns that was forgotten by the leaders in Washington of both parties, is that you're seeing, that's Middletown, Ohio. That's my hometown in southwestern Ohio. It was a proud steel town. I was raised by a grandfather who was a union steel worker, is that those jobs disappeared. Those factories closed down. The thing that I'm most excited about is you do see a large amount of capital investment coming into our country. Factories being built, construction jobs are way up, manufacturing jobs are starting to catch up. So there's a lot more work to do. I think that we're making progress, but ultimately we're going to make our pitch to the voters in November, and they're the ones who get to decide whether we've done a good job or not, and that's how they're going to vote.
Is that a good PC statement? Yeah. But I would like for J.D. Vance to say, but now that I've said that, you guys been lying on this show all week long. Why? I know it's easier said than done when you physically there, and I think he's selling a book, so he got to be clean so his book can get some sales. But at the end of the day, I'd be like, and we did way better than all of the Democrats. They've done nothing for this country, and we closed the border. We done this, we did that. And I think the voters going to have a choice. Do you want people that have no mission for the people? Answer the question. What are Democrats going to do? Nothing. So this is what we're going to do. So the real vote is between Republicans or the better Republican. Democrats have nothing to offer. And y'all be on here lying all week. And now I'm here. I want y'all to talk that noise. Joy, Whoopi, talk that noise that you were talking before I got here. I would love to see that. I want it from the heart, man. I don't want to see the script. But, hey, some people like it. Roll the clip.
Oh, and then apparently I'm getting a note here You told him during the break that he should run for president because he has a good vibe.
I think that even though for a Republican,
Yes.
mind you, I'm not a Republican.
Yes, you're not turning.
I think possibly I voted for Michael Bloomberg once for mayor, who was supposedly.
Yeah, you always liked Bloomberg.
Supposedly he was a Republican. I don't mind a Republican on the city level because it needs a little discipline. But on the national level, I want somebody with a good heart. And those are more in the Democratic Party, in my opinion. They care about the poor. They help people. The Republican Party is much more about saving taxes for rich people. So I'm not a Republican.
One thing he said backstage, and I think he said it a couple times today, was that he was more nervous coming on The View than he was for the vice presidential debate against Walz.
Well, he should be, because we're, the other girls have many receipts.
Yes.
Sunny, she's got all the receipts,
Yes, absolutely.
And Sarah likes to, bring in the kids, which is always like a low blow, and they get scared of that.
But sincere, I thought. She did a good job with that.
Truthfully, as I said to you in the beginning of this conversation, I don't think that he's a bad guy. So if he runs against, say, a Gavin Newsom, that'll be an interesting debate to see those two, because they're both intelligent.
Next clip, man.
I gotta say, it was pretty brave of you to go on to The View. What were you expecting, and how did it go?
Honestly, Greg, I expected them to be absolutely vicious, and they were only a little bit vicious. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Joy Behar even said during the break, not joking, she said, "You know what? You're like pretty good for a Republican." And I was like, whoa, that is a way better compliment than I expected from Joy Behar. I got to say, I thought that Sunny, the woman to my left, was going to call me a racist. In reality, it was Whoopi, the woman to my right, who called me a racist. So expectations were defied.
Well, you know why Sunny can't call you a racist, because, as you know, her ancestors were slave owners. Look it up. Why would I make that up? It was on that thing where she sees her family history. Kennedy?
6 cents?
No, never mind. All right.
She said 6 cents. Yeah, I was in 21andMe or Ancestry.com or something. They looked her thing up, and she had people in her family that owned slaves. You see how light-skinned she is, so you know she mixed. All right, there was another clip of Whoopi. I think Whoopi Cushion said something. Roll it.
What did black people do to this administration that has allowed it to really stigmatize folks of color? And you know how hard it is. You have folks of color in your family.
Sure.
So when you see, things, the Emmett Till stuff coming down, or them doing all kinds of removal of information of black heroes, how does that sit with you?
Well, what exactly are you talking about, Whoopi? Because you just, I know Emmett Till was the kid. No, I want to know what she's.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
Your actual point.
So in a lot of the
Some
museums,
national
there's so many. Where they're taking down the actual history that happened in this country. Slavery happened. All kinds of stuff happened. And it seems that it has been very easy for this administration to remove that, and also to denigrate black folks who have worked their behinds off to get this American dream. How do you, you know better.
So Sonny, that was actually a very helpful intervention, because I think the story you're talking about is where, allegedly the administration is holding back the appointments of people based on skin color.
I'm talking about a host of things. I'm talking about black history getting erased from public spaces. Black voter districts are being dismantled. Black leaders are being sidelined from our ranks. Where do Americans of color fit in this vision? Because it doesn't seem like we fit.
I think, Sonny, my view,
And if I may, since October of last year, there's been something like 6,668 refugees allowed into the country. All but 3 were white South Africans.
So, first of all, I'm very skeptical of that number because we have a lot of different immigration pathways in the United States of America. But let me just address Whoopi's point. Look, first of all, you asked the question, and maybe you don't believe this coming from me, but I think everybody is welcome in our political coalition. Frankly, even if you didn't vote for us, everybody is welcome in our country so long as you're an American citizen with the duties and the...
So he never got around to the actual question. I know it's not easy. If you go into it thinking you're going to be, you want to respond to them, it can be very difficult. If you go into it and you say, I'm going to say what I got to say, I don't care what they even ask me, I'm going to say what I got to say, it becomes easier. When they go, what did the black people do to, I would address it and say, this is why conservatives and Republicans need more black people. They need more black leaders in these positions because we can speak to these things a lot better. I think he feels afraid to challenge them on these black lies, right? Well, what did black people do? First of all, black people are Americans. There's no isolation of black people did, black people this, black people that. Every black person is not a monolith. You and you are not the same person. You guys have different opinions. First of all, we're not eliminating black history. Explain to me how we're going to take down slavery. Explain. Your side is the one trying to get rid of the statues of Robert E. Lee and everything else because you didn't like the perspective. You're trying to erase history. We're not erasing history. We want history to be told accurately and not biased. We don't take down history. We love everybody. Y'all came out here and you had a problem with Clarence Thomas, who's a black conservative. You have a problem with him. You have a problem with every black conservative that there is. You have a problem with them. They don't count to you. That's a shame on all you women. Make sure you take your mic off. All right, let me get up out here before I get in trouble.